Alright, so first things first, we need to get our two colors, which I am using Peach Pink and Agave from Loops and Threads Sweet Snuggles Lite. And then we are also going to be getting a 5mm hook and also scissors, and if you really want it, you can use a sewing needle, but it's not necessary. And then we are going to do 8 single stitches inside of a magic circle. Make sure you like and subscribe for more videos here on YouTube. And if you go over to my Instagram, make sure you follow me over there because most of my patterns will be written for free. Alright, so now for row number 2, we are going to be doing an increase stitch in every single stitch. So you are going to be ending with 16. So now rows 3, 4, and 5, you're just going to be doing 16 single stitches all the way around. So I'm going to speed it up and we're going to go to row number 6 just to hurry the video up for you, but definitely pause and take a chance to finish those 3 rows. Okay, so now we are going to be doing a decrease in every single stitch. So we are decreasing 8 times, ending with 8 single stitches. Okay, so now we are done with the head and we are going to be forming the body. And so what we are going to be doing is an increase and then 3 single crochet in the same stitch, and then increase and then 3 single crochet in the same stitch. We're going to do that 4 times and you're going to end with 20 stitches in total. I personally don't like to use a stitch marker. I have no idea why, but make sure you're either counting or using a stitch marker. And now we are going to be moving on. This next one we are going to be doing 5 single stitches and then 10 increases and then 5 single stitches. You will be having 30 stitches in total. So now rows 9 through 13, that's 5 rows, you are going to be doing 30 single stitches all the way around. Again, I'm going to speed up this video to get to the ending of row 13, but feel free to pause it or rewind or do whatever you need to do to help make it easier for you. Okay, so normally I like to stuff the head and insert the eyes, not in that order, around rows 8, but I forgot to tell you guys that. So this is still a pretty good time to be inserting the eyes and stuffing the head. Everything is pretty wide open, but personally though, row 8 would be where it's at, and I will be putting that in the description below. Now for row number 14, we are going to be doing 3 single crochet and 1 decrease 6 times until we get 24 single stitches. Okay, so now for row number 15, we are going to be doing 2 single crochet and 1 decrease 6 times until we get 18 single stitches. Okay, so now before we start row number 16, we are going to stop and we are going to stuff the rest of the body. Then we are going to be doing row 16, which is 1 single stitch, 1 decrease 6 times until you get 12 stitches in total. Okay, so now you are going to finish stuffing, and then we are going to be moving on to row 17, which is the last row in the body. And this is just doing 6 decreases to have ending up with 6 single crochet all the way around, and then you are going to fasten off and then weave in through each single crochet and pull through to close off, and then weave in your ends again, and you are done with the body. Okay, so we are going to be adding the legs onto the pumpkin spider. You are going to start at the front and count down to row 7, and you're going to go in between 7 and 8, and I like to do parallel with the eyes for the first leg. So you're just going to stick it in there, grab your yarn, and you're going to pull it through and yarn over to mimic a single crochet. And then you're just going to chain 13 and then work and increase down the chain and slip stitch in the same stitch as the single crochet. Then you're going to repeat that process 4 times. You want to have 4 legs on each side, totaling 8 legs. So after you chain up 13 times, you want to do increase down 12 times to make 24 single crochet, and then a slip stitch in the first original single crochet, and then move on to the next spot. Now I'm going to cut the video ahead. Okay, so after you do your last slip stitch in your 4th leg in the same stitch as your single crochet, you are going to break the line or cut it, whichever kind of yarn you're using. I don't use scissors with the Chanel yarn. And then you are just going to fasten off, which is just pulling the yarn straight through, pulling the tail all the way through, and then you are going to be weaving in the tail with your hook. Like, no needles are needed for this, just to make it easier. On to the next side, you're going to count down again, making it parallel with the eye. You're going to do or go to row 7, and then you are going to put your hook through, and then you are going to do a single crochet to begin with, and then do chain 13 up, and then 24 single stitch down or 12 increase down. And here's another little snippet of where to put your next leg. It just needs to be in the next stitch over. It doesn't matter if you're keeping it parallel. I personally like to have them curve up a tiny bit, but it's your preference with your spider. Now that you did legs 5 through 8, we are going to be making the pumpkin part of the spider. So you are going to leave the tail extremely long, like I'm talking like 8 to 12 inches long, and you are going to pull through to fasten off, just like we did the first time. And with that, you are going to directly put it right there in the middle of your pumpkin spider. So I pull it all the way through. I kind of try to ride the yarn and not go through the stuffing, so I don't pull stuffing out when I pull the yarn through. It works pretty well after having practice, and I just pull the yarn all the way through. I didn't mean to throw my hook, by the way, but it happens when you are working with long yarn. And then after that, you are going to pull very tight, but don't break it. As you will see later on, I broke my yarn, which is fine because I can show you how to fix it. But you're going to go to the middle on the top and pull it tight, and you're going to grab your hook and you are going to go in one end and out the other and just slip stitch it. So you're just pulling it straight through, and then make sure you are pulling it tight a little bit more to how you want it to look. And then you're going to put it in the next position depending on how big you want the chunks to be. This one is going to be a sixth line spider. I prefer to do 6s, but I really do like to do 8s. And then you're going to pull tight again, and then you'll slip stitch through, and then you're going to bring it back up. I like to do it in this order. You can go like all the way around if you'd like also. It's just up to your preference as long as they look like this. And then here I pulled too tight and I snapped my yarn, and I will show you how to fix that in just 1 second. You are working with Chanel yarn and you snapped it, totally fine. Make sure you are pulling it tight again, not too tight so you don't break it again, but pull it tight again, and then you are going to weave it in like you did with the leg on the other side, and to make it as tight as you did. It will hold its shape, it will do great. You are just fastening off that one line, and then we will be adding in the rest of the yarn here in just a second. So I like to begin where I left off. So we left off at the top. So I go on the top and I pull the yarn through again, and then I weave in that end just to make sure it is going to be secure and it's not going to go anywhere as I'm pulling for the rest of the spider to form the pumpkin. And that's it. That's how you correct it. If you accidentally break your yarn, no big deal. Then you're going to just bring it back down to the middle, and you're going to single crochet, and you're going, or not single crochet, you're going to slip stitch, and you're going to continue to do it until you have as many bumps as you personally like. I think, to be honest, 6 through 8 bumps look the best, but it's your pumpkin spider, you do you. Now that you finished your last bump, you are going to be weaving it in just to make sure everything is tight and secure. Also, if you have any flaws because you didn't have enough tension in one spot, or you missed the stitch on accident and you want to cover that up, this is a perfect time to just run that yarn through that little space and it will look perfect. Nobody will be able to tell the difference. Now adding on the stem. So again, you're going to single crochet the green part on. I like to weave the green up with my chain 3. It just works out best for me. So you're going to chain it 3 times, and then you are going to do a single crochet 2 times down and slip stitch into the base where your original single crochet was. And then after that, you are just going to weave it in, and you're done. Your pumpkin spider is good to go. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I am more than glad to help. And thank you so much for using my pattern. And if you liked this video, make sure you subscribe so you can have more free tutorials.